You guys don't need to worry about me getting revenge from Diddy. I've got 3 moves that make sure he'll never be able to come after me or my family. First, I personally reached out to the victims' legal teams. The real reason he's not getting out is those buried cases behind the scenes. I provided legal funding for 7 victims who had been silent for years and brought in the top criminal attorneys in the country. Second, I bought up every potential post-release business deal he had lined up. I planned this 2 years in advance, so by the time he got sentenced and still had hope of getting out, every partner had already cut ties with him. Third, I don't just have evidence, I've got backups. This is an entire minefield that's been buried for 20 years. I uncovered every secret from the last 30 years. With testimonies from the victims, we interviewed over a dozen people he tricked, threatened, or violated. You think that's harsh? No, he destroyed other people's lives for decades. I'm just making sure he spends a few extra years in prison for it. I'm not afraid of his people, not afraid of his threats. I know he's still in there fantasizing about a comeback, but the truth is...
All right, welcome back. The focus is on 50 Cent again, and this time it's bigger than his documentary. He has shared that his Netflix series about Diddy only showed a small part of what his team discovered. With only 4 episodes, they couldn't include everything, so some serious information was left out. One important detail, involving someone close to the situation, didn't make it into the final episodes because there wasn't enough time. Instead of saving it for another season, 50 Cent has suggested that this unseen material might be released on YouTube after the series. He also said that more people are now coming forward with new information. Some people are asking why he keeps pushing this story so hard. That question was recently answered by comedian TK Kirkland, who said this isn't about fame or creating drama. He made it clear that 50 Cent has a deeper, personal reason for continuing, which explains why the situation keeps getting more serious.
All the women in the world that Diddy could have gotten with, he chose 50 Cent's baby mother.
It's a lot of variables to this particular question. Because I talk to a lot of people, older, younger, even my daughter, who's 22, she didn't understand it. So people give their opinion based on what they've experienced and their environment, people they've been around. So to the people that understand boundaries and respect, I always tell men you should never date another man's girl if you're not aware of it.
He made it very clear that crossing this line shows serious disrespect. He explained that his whole life, he has avoided getting involved with anyone who was previously connected to a close friend, because to him, that's an unspoken rule you never break. He also pointed out that Diddy has plenty of options. With his power, money, and global influence, there was no shortage of choices, which makes the situation look even more questionable. From TK's point of view, this wasn't an accident or a careless mistake. It was a deliberate move, especially considering the long history of tension between Diddy and 50 Cent. Because of that history, he believes it's hard to see this as anything but intentional, adding more weight to an already serious and growing situation.
After the baby mother of one of his rivals.
Exactly.
Someone who had been taking shots at him for years.
Absolutely.
On purpose.
And he went after her knowing that they had beef.
Right. And slutted her out. Just slutted her out. Having a whole basketball team run a train on her.
Totally
and
did. I
just
totally
the whole
agree.
thing, right?
Totally agree.
Right.
But his reputation from when he worked at Uptown, I'll be sure's girlfriend.
Oh, Kim Porter. Right.
That's his reputation.
I'll be sure his baby mother.
Baby mama.
Yeah.
Then, Eric Serum, his friend, the one that she had his baby, Mia. So he's had a reputation of going after people.
Tupac's ex-girlfriend.
He got
a baby with her too.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So my point that I'm making to the men listening, well, if you don't understand this, then you're just poorly educated and don't really have common sense. It's a no-no. There's no way I would go after Vlad's ex-girlfriend.
Right.
I'm so loyal that if I met a woman and she said, oh yeah, I used to date Vlad. Oh, I can't f with you, baby.
Right.
I won't even put excuse my language, because that's how I move. Other people don't move like that, but you see me in Paris, you see me all over the world. Why would I want to do that to mess up.
Even though 50 Cent's documentary is getting a lot of attention and praise, not everyone sees it as a total success. Gene Deal has spoken up with strong criticism, saying that some parts of the project were not as original as they seemed. He claims that certain ideas were taken from things he shared earlier without giving him proper credit. According to him, those moments didn't come from new research, but from reused ideas. This has raised questions about who deserves credit and about creative honesty. His comments have added new controversy, shifting some attention away from the documentary's success and putting more focus on how the story was put together behind the scenes.
About he said that he had a lot of footage had to be down. The documentary had to be downsized. You understand? I don't really believe that, because a documentary is a documentary, and they could have had 45 minutes. They could have had an hour, to each one of those. You understand? They left out certain things. He said they even left out the one about Sarah Chapman. You understand? And for whatever reason, he probably left out a lot of other different stars too. Situations that they could have spoke about. You understand? I have a problem with the documentary, and I'm just going to let you know that the reason I have a problem with the documentary is that they know that they took my idea. You understand? They know that when I came to them, I laid out what they should do and how the documentary should be. You understand? She could say whatever she want to say. I talked to those producers before I even talked to her. They wanted to know what I had, what I was bringing, my pictures, all that stuff like that. And I told them about me, Tim, and Kirk. You understand what I'm saying? And how it would go. They did the same thing. This ain't the first time they stole from me, man. If you look at the Notorious Big, if you watch the Notorious Big, that part about the shoes, I had that in my book. And I was talking to K.O. Copeland. He was one of the writers of that movie. And I told him about when I let Big use my shoes at Soul Train Award. You had this old flunky ass dude, Mike B, get on Angie Martinez's show and talk about, yo, Big, he wore mixed max shoes and he went out there and performed. When you go look at the film, when you go look at Big performing that on that show, ain't nothing mixed match about them shoes. There was $800 Maury's, size 14D. Big wore 14E. E means that his shoes is a little wider than mine. He struggled, but he put them on and he went out there and performed. Those was my Gators that he had on. You understand? They did a little skit trying to disrespect me in the movie. You understand? And they said something about,
He also shared his thoughts on the growing talk that 50 Cent might release more material online in the future. He suggested that if more content does come out, there may be no way to stop it. From Gene's point of view, if there were any real power to block or silence the documentary, it would have already been used by now. The fact that it hasn't been stopped says a lot about who truly has influence at this moment. To him, the documentary still being available sends a strong message and raises serious questions about how much control Diddy really has left and how much of that power may have already faded.
And if 50 do another one, and I heard he's going to put it on YouTube or do whatever he's going to do, Puff ain't going to have nothing to do with that. Puff ain't going to have nothing to do to try to stop that, because he can't. Because if he could stop it, it would have been stopped. You know why he can't stop it? Because Puff know people right there at Netflix. Don't think he don't. And I don't know if this guy still work for them, but he was part of the flavor unit, Shakim. He was part of the flavor unit. He was good friends. He was cool with Puff and them. Flavor unit and them, Queen Latifah and them, they was cool with Puff. If Puff would have sent the cease and desist over there and they could do it and he had the power and they wasn't right, they would have been done it. You see, it's still rolling, right? It's still going on, right? He ain't got that power no more. You understand? Now, could he sue them because they used his likeness or used them and stuff like that? I don't know. I'm not that versed in they using him. You understand? If they can steal your whole damn idea, your whole damn idea, why can't they steal your whole damn intellectual property?
Jean went even further, saying that Diddy has had a long-standing obsession with Tupac. He described it not as a passing thought, but as a mindset that quietly influenced Diddy's decisions for many years. In his view, this focus affected how Diddy moved behind the scenes, shaped important choices, and influenced how he handled both personal and business situations. Jean suggested that this way of thinking became a core part of how Diddy operated over time, subtly guiding his actions and strategies in ways that can still be felt today.
Did see the interview that 50 did with Sherry, and he was talking about he didn't release the video about Puff having a kid by Kim Porter's friend, Sarah Chapman. Now, we all know that she used to date Tupac. You understand? So either he got her because he wanted some remnants of Tupac. We don't know. But it seemed like every dude that he had some kind of disdain, dislike, or that he idolized in a sense, he wanted their girl, or he wanted to be a part of their girl. I don't know why. Yo, bro, this dude was, I don't know if he was in love or in hate for Tupac. He wanted to be an actor. He auditioned for, I think he auditioned for Juice. But Pac beat him out for that Bishop thing. You understand what I'm saying? He wanted to be a part of that. Just go, and not so many years ago, when Puff started getting into that drugs and started using drug stuff, he started revamping some of Tupac's speeches. And if you think I'm lying, go look at the Grammy speech he did. Go look at a couple of speeches he did. It was the same exact words Tupac had said. That he was going to start this whole revolutionary of our people. That's Tupac. Black Lives Matter, the Black Liberation Movement, that was Pac. The Black Liberation Movement. Black Lives Matter. Come on, bro. This dude, everybody know that he had some kind of, I don't want to say disdain taste, but he had some kind of, I don't, jealousy of Tupac, bro.
The documentary also has some gaps. One thing many viewers noticed was the limited attention given to Kim Porter. She was Diddy's longtime partner and the mother of his children, so she played an important role in his life. However, her role in the documentary was very small. Kim Porter passed away suddenly in 2018 at the age of 47, with pneumonia listed as the official cause of death. Even so, the unexpected nature of her passing has continued to raise questions and public discussion. Because she was so closely connected to Diddy for many years, many people felt that skipping over her story made the documentary feel incomplete, leaving an important part of the story unexplored and missing key context.
Do you think that Diddy killed Kim Porter?
Absolutely.
Why?
Because of all the videotapes, because of the book, because of all the people she gave copies of her book to, or at least chapters, because of everything that she had on him, because of the tape that she used to blackmail him into a relationship and into a raise of him being sodomized by Andre Harrell. And I am not saying that allegedly, because I heard her and Kim Noor talking about it in the booth of the bathroom while snorting cane.
She was at the center of his life and saw everything, from private relationships to major business decisions and moments the public never knew about. Yet the documentary barely acknowledged her role. Several people believe her story was intentionally avoided because it was seen as too sensitive or complicated to address directly. Jean, who says he knew Kim personally and helped support her more than once, believes she understood much more than people realize. In his view, leaving out her perspective removed an important layer of understanding, making the overall story feel incomplete, especially considering how closely she was involved in everything happening behind the scenes.
Did have a book, and that her book was about to come out. And she was talking about all the perils, everything that she went through in the music business and with Diddy. All the men that they slept with together, because there were men that they slept with together. There were swinging times that they slept with together. I don't know, man. How do you put your girl through some shit like that? Or how do you look at your girl and knowing that she to another dude? What kind of demonic mind you have to be that far gone where that shit don't bother you? And got rid of them. They swimming with the fishes.
Wow, man. So she was about to expose all that in her book, them sleeping with men together.
She was going to expose everything. I heard it was tell all.
Yeah, that's crazy, man. Just curious, right? Did you know that Diddy and Kim had that type of relationship back then in real time?
Yeah. Yep. Because I know somebody personally that lives in Atlanta that was swinging with them. And I would never mention his name because he's a good brother and he knows my family down there. You know, he knows my family down there. And I would never, put his name out there like that. He's been in the music business. He didn't put a lot of groups.
None of this perspective appeared in the documentary. Kim's role was reduced to a few photos and a brief mention as the mother of Diddy's children before the story quickly moved on. This silence felt especially noticeable because of how important she was in his life. For someone so closely involved behind the scenes, her absence raised serious questions for viewers. Mark Curry has also spoken publicly about a troubling dynamic between Kim and Diddy. He claimed that Diddy closely watched her private communications and became angry when he heard things he didn't like. Mark described an incident where Diddy reportedly became furious after learning about a phone call Kim had with producer Shakur Stewart, then confronted him at a public event, making the situation worse. According to Mark, moments like this suggest a controlling environment that the documentary never fully explored. This has strengthened concerns that important stories and viewpoints were intentionally left out.
Hey, they just did a whole thing with the girl that he was dating was the one that was putting the wiretaps and all of that out. It was a clear case. She came, hey, I was the one who was doing the wiretaping and all of this, right? The tapping. So I knew about this before she came out and said that she was the one that was doing it. I was sitting there like, damn, he know everything she doing. He know her conversation. I'm sitting there like when I'm sitting there right there next to him, when I'm hearing them saying, this is what Shakur Stewart was saying to Kim Porter on the phone that made him mad. That made him so mad at Shakur Stewart when he went to L.A. Reid party, hit him with the chair. You don't think if he hit a man with a chair for dating this girl, they gonna have a fight at home too. You know what I mean? That's why, they say he busts her nose up on the boat. And have you ever been to Sandro Pay's see a brother play a mandolay? Remember that was in his song? I need a good woman next to me. So then it happened in Sandro Pay? Like that island. And then he bust her nose. They tried to make it seem like she slipped and fell. She slipped and fell and broke her nose. Nah, the truth was she slipped and fell and landed on his fist. Yeah, but that's what happens when you put your hands on females. I don't really have much respect for a man who's physically abusive towards women, man. I kind of think they be kind of suspect. I'd be like, man,
This omission seems to follow a larger pattern, especially when looking at how the documentary handled Diddy's famous parties. For years, those events were rumored to include powerful people from many different industries. Yet the film says almost nothing about them. There are no major names mentioned, no real background, and no deeper explanation. That lack of detail stands out, especially since these connections were talked about openly in the past, and many of those same people are now silent. The absence doesn't feel accidental. Instead, it comes across as another topic that was carefully avoided, adding to the feeling that certain discussions were intentionally kept out of the documentary.
On all his celebrity friends that denounced those allegations and were like, this is false, and
Liars.
They were saying, yeah, should they speak up now?
It's getting a little too late for those who are complicit. Stevie J should be charged. Mary J. Blige should also be charged. Jennifer Lopez should definitely be charged. Jay-Z should be charged. Khaled should be charged. Rick Ross should be charged. Usher should be charged and tried with him. Or for Justin Bieber alone.
Jaguar Wright has taken the discussion beyond the music industry, saying that the roots of Diddy's story began long before fame, inside his childhood home. She claims that when he was young, his mother was often focused on other things, and many unfamiliar people regularly came and went, creating an unstable home environment. According to her, growing up with constant change and uncertainty can strongly affect a child's mindset, leaving effects that don't disappear even with success. Jaguar believes these early experiences played an important role in shaping who Diddy later became, well before the music industry had any influence on him.
Knows what he saw and what happened to him in his own mama house. All of those strangers, them up involved, looking around, seeing what was going on. And let's just be clear, it sounds like her house was a house of, professional freak-offs. So who knows what he saw or what could have happened to him while she was busy entertaining people and pouring and getting tips, as she would say, for her after-hour life.
Oh yeah. He was. I'm gonna say he was surprised to hear that.
School bus driver. No, was he surprised or was he like, zip it, you talking too much? Because that's what it looked like to me. It looked like you talking a little bit too much. They don't need to know about that. While she was sitting up there, because I was a bus driver and I was this and I worked at the after hours. And I would pour them drinks and they would give me big.
Jaguar also pointed out that Diddy has openly expressed pride when learning about his father's risky street-centered lifestyle, and she thinks that reaction is very telling. In her view, embracing that image instead of distancing himself from it shows how deeply those early influences took hold. She believes it gives a clear insight into how his mindset, values, and sense of identity were shaped as a child, and how those early foundations may still influence his choices and behavior today.
In Sean's own words, in Diddy's own words, he had said he had a sigh of relief learning that he was the son of a hustler or a gangster. Like he wanted that status. He wanted to say that he was a sigh of relief is a wild thing to say. That your daddy was a gangster or a hustler, that's what you heard that he was.
Well, I mean, like Tim said, they had a bunch of blaxploitation movies being played around the house all the time. They grew up with the Mac playing. They grew up with Superfly playing. Like, I mean, if that's what you got going on, you got two women in the house and there's no men around, and these are what the little boys are watching. You got basketball players coming over late at night. You got hustlers coming over, PIMPs coming over, women who look like they were modeling for Jet Magazine coming over. Like, it sounds like the nature of the environment is what shaped their perception of what cool was. So yeah, I mean, I'm sure for him it was, oh man, that's who my dad was. So I'm sure for him, it made him feel good because all of that stuff that he was watching, he really came from that. But that was really his legacy. And yeah, I'm sure for him, it felt good to know that his dad was this big hustler who turned out to be a snitch, who got his brains removed.
She links that mindset to how hip-hop culture later celebrated larger-than-life personas, noting that many artists drew their names and images from classic film characters associated with power, intimidation, and control. Jaguar argues that Diddy didn't just watch that image from a distance. He personally connected with it because it reflected the environment he grew up in. In her view, this connection went beyond music or branding and helped shape his sense of self. She also spoke about Diddy's relationship with his mother, describing it as unusual and uncomfortable, and suggested that deeper, unresolved issues existed, adding a darker undertone to the bigger story she was explaining.
The situation where they say he was trying to shape Misa into his mother. Can you see that? Like,
yeah, with the blonde hair and yeah, and all of that. I mean, somebody
really
asked a question: what kind of man puts his hands on his mother? The same kind of man that parties with his mom, the same kind of man who kisses his mom in the mouth, the same kind of man who seems to have accurate knowledge that his elderly mother can put both of her hands, her palms, on the floor while she's standing up, bent over.
Oh damn! I ain't seen that one. Oh.
You never seen the Instagram video where he was talking about how his mom is still young and spry and how she still liked the party and how they was getting a IV drip?
Oh. Damn.
And she was kissing him in the mouth on the video when he was like, yeah, my mom can bend over and touch the floor with her palms. It's a very, very, very weird.
Jaguar believes that, in the end, everything ties back to Diddy's relationship with his children, which she finds deeply troubling. She says that multiple people have claimed the children were exposed to situations no child should ever face, raising serious concerns about judgment, boundaries, and responsibility. For her, the most alarming part isn't just the claims themselves, but the widespread silence surrounding them. It raises tough questions about what kind of parenting allows such situations, and why so many adults who allegedly knew about them chose to stay quiet instead of speaking out.
Well, it kind of goes into, I mean, he seems to be having, and again, I know the freak offs, that his son is there. Like, it seems like he likes to get down with his kids.
Yeah. But that wasn't all. Just to hear Little Rod say, like, the boys were around. Roger Bonds talked about the children as well. What kind of parenting relationship is that? But then again, that goes back to the conversation of Lori Harvey, Steve Harvey's daughter. It was all known that she was spotted in them streets with Justin, and then she was spotted in them streets with Diddy, and they all tried to sit there and pretend like that wasn't what it was. Like, I don't know if anybody has not noticed, but ever since Diddy got pinched, they've all been trying to pretend like all of the stuff that we've seen that happened, that they was all involved in, didn't happen. If Lori Harvey was hanging out, and it's kind of weird, like the whole relationship with Justin looks weird. He looks like Mini-Me with Dr. Evil. It's weird. Like, why are there people? Why is there sexual behavior going on? And why are people naked in front of their kids, G? Doing all kinds of stuff. And meanwhile, Misa's running around making comments about how she don't like the way that Eric Sermon was depicting her in the documentary. You don't like the way you're being talked about in the documentary. You don't like the fact that, because see, it wasn't Gene Deal, because Gene Deal said he wasn't there, and thank God that he was able to admit that. Kirk Burroughs did say that he was there and present
when Diddy was beating the brakes off of Misa and putting the feet to her up underneath the...
This could lead to completely new claims, overlooked perspectives, and important context that didn't appear in the original release. Unseen interviews, cut storylines, or first-hand accounts could change the story even more, especially as more people continue to come forward. The bigger question is, how much is still hidden, and who might be affected if it finally comes out? Share your thoughts in the comments, and let us know what you think could be revealed next as this story continues to unfold.